The vestiges of 40 years of war has left parts of Angola frozen in time.
Angola is key for regional conservation efforts, but there's a hidden danger, and that's landmines.
Hundreds of thousands of ordinances remain a threat to people.
We're going to visit this community, one of the more remote communities in the region, certainly far from any kind of infrastructure.
At the heart of the region's environmental equilibrium are the Angolan highlands, the point of origin for the water that provides a pulse for countries across southern Africa. But the seasons are changing, and the effects of drought are immediate and devastating. Angola's ecological mosaic is tied to the future of the entire region. The preservation of its ecosystems distilled to the most basic element. The wet season has started in Angola's Cuando province. The faint pitter-patter here can be felt thousands of kilometers away in the pulses of water that flow downstream across the southeast of the country. The villages tucked into this sprawling wilderness lack basic infrastructure. No electricity, no running water. Communities grow and cook their own food and travel by foot to wash and bathe in the rivers and tributaries that support life here. Living off the land is rooted in cultural tradition, but it's also an absolute necessity. And so, when seasonal rains arrive late, people here suffer.
Imbahoni kutulisavene mu setembro toke novembro nyondi yai etutoka na tradição yetu.
Annual rainfall in the Angolan highlands is measured at a volume of 423 cubic kilometers. That's equivalent to 170 million Olympic swimming pools of water. Researchers from National Geographic's Okavango Wilderness Project were the first to define its boundaries, mapping an area of more than 380,000 square kilometers. The rainfall here provides fresh water to 6 other countries: the Democratic Republic of Congo to the north, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique to the east, and Namibia and Botswana to the south.
Angola is key regionally for conservation aims. The water that falls from the rain in the Angolan highlands feeds the Okavango Delta in Botswana. It feeds the Zambezi River, which travels all the way out to the Indian Ocean. The water here, moving through those huge catchments, sustains some of the largest free-roaming populations of wildlife on the African continent. But there's a hidden danger, and that's landmines.
Angola remains one of the most heavily mined countries in the world. Though no exact figure is known, an estimated 1 million landmines were laid over the course of the country's 27-year civil war. One conflict on top of the other, the Angolan Civil War began immediately following the country's War of Independence. Two guerrilla movements that had fought together to cast off the yoke of their colonial master, Portugal, turned against each other. And Angola quickly became a Cold War battleground, with foreign influence fueling the conflict. Ordinances planted in remote villages and farmland, and along the banks of the country's abundant river systems, have continued to take a heavy toll across the country. The southwest province of Cuando remains the most heavily contaminated. Edson Moyo was a soldier, and then, when the war ended, a peacekeeper. Now, he's a munitions expert with the Halo Trust, an international charity that for more than 30 years has worked to rid Angola of its minefields.
To lay mine in a soldier system have to eliminate or to control your enemy. You can go first on the source of water. Then you can block all the roads.
The Angolan government is funding the Halo Trust, along with other partners, to clear dozens of landmine fields in the province, including in national parks.
Prior to the wars suffered in Angola, there were estimated 70,000 elephants. After the war, there were fewer than 300. Now, working with our partners, we're monitoring wildlife returning to these areas as the minefields are removed, and now there are upwards of 1,500 elephants. So by removing landmines, it's a foundational step in ensuring Angola's natural heritage into the future.
At the Halo Trust compound in the provincial capital Mononge, dozens of demining teams are preparing for intense 6-week missions.
Today is quite a busy day, so we are doing the preparations for a new cycle of work. Before we send our teams to work to actually do the demining work, we have survey teams, which are teams that go to the villages and speak to the communities to understand what could be the risk. So whether there have been accidents, or people have seen mines, or they have information about minefields in these areas.
The beauty of the Angolan highlands is mesmerizing, unspoiled, but also underdeveloped.
Most of the infrastructures are not in good condition. We have no good roads to deploy our teams to very, very far away from the towns.
We know that once we get rid of these minefields, progress is going to come to those communities because we know of the commitment from the government to bring progress to those communities, but it's difficult to do it when there are minefields around.
Sejam bem-vindos, caros visitantes. Estamos diante do mapa da nossa tarefa. Trata-se de uma antiga área agrícola. Os problemas que estamos a enfrentar nesta tarefa é a contaminação, que está muito alta.
We suit up to get a closer look at the work being done here.
Position yourself that way.
So, as an example of community relations, they see a big group of people turning up, and people helpfully bring stuff out of the bush because they're worried about it for us to clear.
So this is what they've cleared?
That's what someone's picked up.
We're told this is a common occurrence.
Guys, would you mind if you all went backwards, please? We'll just have a look. Me and Savannah will have a look at it.
Yeah.
100 meters, please.
And just like that. So, what are they doing exactly now?
That looks like the jet of a rocket-propelled grenade. The grenade is gone, so we've got rocket-propelled down that end, which may still have fuel, propellant, something like that in it. So definitely better safe than sorry.
The minefields are positioned just beyond a local village. Children are the most at risk.
Who's seen one of these before?
They're afraid.
They're afraid? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you move a little bit in the bush, you find one of these. Yeah.
So we're currently here in Kwando Kubango province with the Halo Trust. We're walking through an active minefield. To date, they've cleared over 124,000 landmines. And so the community here is reliant on agriculture, which is why they want these landmines removed, so that they can tend to their land, feed their communities, and survive.
Afternoon storms come fast and fierce.
Yeah, so rainy season's just started and it'll go until April, I think. And then it goes, and then you won't see a cloud here for half the year. This province has had 4 years of drought before last year. And then really, really big problems with food shortages.
In many communities, shortages of food persist. An El Niño-induced drought has left more than 2 million people in Angola in need of food assistance, according to the World Food Programme.
We've been driving about an hour from the nearest paved road. This is one of the more remote communities in the region, certainly far from any kind of infrastructure.
When we arrive, people gather in the center of the village to welcome us. They tell us drought and a lack of resources to access water makes life hard.
The most difficult thing is taking water from the river to the farm where they are normally cultivated. Without transport for that, it's quite very challenging.
We walk for 15 minutes to get a sense of how far the village is from its water source. Life here is tied to the rivers of the region, so close and yet so far away. The effects of climate change in Angola have vast consequences, not only for people here, but also their environment. Sprawling in the distance are peatlands, delicate ecosystems which cover just 3% of the Earth's land surface, but store twice as much carbon as all the world's forests combined.
Afrotropical peatlands in Angola are an incredibly important resource for carbon sequestration and the maintenance of wetland biodiversity, which is decreasing globally.
Underfoot is peat, decomposed organic matter that builds up over the course of thousands of years.
Communities will burn to bring back new green growth into the area so that they can graze cattle on it as well. So that's what we've been looking at here, and now we're considering just doing a quick core to take the depth of the peat here.
Because the peat grows each year, it's like 1 centimeter. But now with the impact of what human beings, people are doing, it's losing a death.
Peatlands also act as a filter for groundwater, which is why the water that flows downstream and out across southern Africa is some of the purest on Earth. To keep it that way, local environmental organizations like Akadir work with communities to help them preserve these pristine ecosystems.
Dos principais impactos na conservação dos rios ou das bacias hidrográficas é a consciencialização das comunidades rurais sobre o uso e a gestão sustentável desses grandes rios.
Akadir has constructed pilot farms to help teach local communities about sustainable farming practices, protecting forests and waterways, which are symbiotic in nature.
Tuwaka mu seminari kutulongeza vachi kukwama vachi motunyunga muthenge vachi mbunga yaphela kuyoya kaho mwacho tunanganya la momana akunyunga muthenge yetu.
This is a part of the world on the front lines of climate change, with more variable rainfall and climbing temperatures, now a perennial challenge. The immediate need for development comes with the added challenge of sustainability, to ensure this country and this region can continue to draw on the source of life.